actually always wanted to have children. I've had an amazing childhood growing up with my parents, and I just wanted to have that example that they had for me, for my children one day. Our situation is actually very unique because we actually knew from the start, when I met Cameron, he was very open about it, that he can't have children naturally. But the doctor did say with IVF, everything will be fine. We basically will just do IVF, a little bit of science, and we'll probably have our child. Unfortunately, that was not the case when we went to get tests done. We were shocked because we didn't know that why. We thought everything would be fine, it'd be so easy. And yeah, it wasn't actually. I felt really, really devastated. We were both very shocked actually, because it felt like my whole world was ripped apart. It was just basically my dream of having a kid. Researched everything. Google was my friend, and my doctors. Unfortunately, because doctors normally, they won't tell you if you don't ask. So for me, I did quite a lot of research and basically went in guns blazing with all my questions, and basically just ask everything possible and make sure that we are going through the right steps. The option was basically, we have to do IVF. We don't have a choice. And it was actually not IVF, it was actually ICSI. That is very similar to IVF. It's just the different way they fertilize the egg, where they actually inject the sperm into the egg rather than putting it just in a dish. So it is a little bit more expensive as well, and a little bit more invasive, and a lot more science goes involved in that. But it's a lot more successful as well. We spoke as a couple. We had a lot of communication of, do we want to go through this? Do we really want to do this? And are we strong enough to go through this? Because you have to be a very strong couple to go through something like that. Basically for us, we looked at the budget, but not too much, because we actually really thought, first time, it's going to work. Because to get your body ready for IVF, it's recommended to take 3 months to basically get your body ready before you start IVF. So just healthy foods, nutrition, and basically just get yourself mentally prepared as well. I basically would 100% recommend living healthily, because it's all about your diet and stuff. If you're not going to have a healthy diet, your body is not in a prime position to go through something so harsh. So I would definitely say do some exercise, but don't go strenuous exercise, because if you think about it, you're nurturing your body to have a baby. So it is a nurturing environment. So you can't go and do 100 burpees every day. So basically, I would just say just a little bit minimum exercise, not too much. So swimming is 100% probably the best exercise you can do before pregnancy and during pregnancy, because it's not hard on your body. And when it comes to foods and supplements, there's quite a lot of supplements out there for fertility. If you research it, there's a lot of natural stuff. So royal jelly and propolis, a lot of natural stuff. And it makes sense, because the more natural you go, the better it is for your body, and the better it is for obviously for the environment that you're going to put that beautiful embryo in. So I would definitely recommend to be as healthy as possible, but the only thing is not to go excessive, because I went really excessive and it was unnecessary. And like I said, at the end, I didn't even take one supplement. The last cycle, I actually did not take any supplements, but the only thing is I've already had my embryos made. So, because I had 2 frozen embryos, so my embryos were made in the prime position, in the prime spot for healthy eating, healthy living. And then it was basically just me just putting the embryos back, what was different, obviously. Then you just keep focused on what the main goal is, and it makes you stronger. It doesn't frighten you. It actually makes you stronger, and you actually learn so much more about yourself because you do become very, very strong. We did our research, so we basically knew what we were getting ourselves into, but you can't prepare yourself 100%. It's still, because if you think analytical, then yes, you can definitely plan for everything like my husband does all the time. But then the emotions do get involved. And it actually helps you a lot to talk about it. The more you bottle things up, the worse it gets. And I think the more emotional you get. So if you can actually speak to friends and family, close friends, and they can understand what's going on, then it makes it a little bit easier. I would recommend talking about it because it's not good to bottle it up. You need to sort of try and get your mind calm and try and stay positive and just basically try and actually forget about what you're doing. We thought the first cycle was going to work and it didn't work. And then we were like, okay, so what do we change? What do we do a little bit differently? And he basically said, try and mentally prepare yourself for 4 sessions, and financially as well, if you can, try and prepare yourself for 4 sessions, because sometimes it does not work the first time. And they can do as much as they can, but it's still sort of in God's hands at the end. A couple that communicate quite a lot, and I think that's your key point, because if you do not talk about it, it's gonna kill you a little bit inside. Do give yourself time to grieve, because it is very gut-wrenching when it does not work. But have the cry. But for me, it was like I cried when I found out, and literally a few hours later, I was like, right, let's go, let's do this again. What can we change? What can we do differently? And pick yourself up. It's sort of try and keep yourself centered. So basically that's what I did. And I do love the gym. So I would literally, if it didn't work, I literally would go to the gym and exercise and just feel good about myself and get the happy endorphins going and just make myself feel good. And I literally just went out with friends, and because the only thing is it's a very intense thing to go through that intense emotions, but then take a bit of a break. Take a breather, especially after our 4th cycle didn't work. It was, for me, that's it. I'm not going to do this again. I had to step away from it. And we stepped away from it for 7 months. And it was a long time for us to step away from it. And we basically, my husband actually, he wrote it off. He literally said, it's not going to work again. So let's just write it off, go on with our lives, enjoy just us as a couple. And we did. I literally lived. And we really enjoyed it. And then I just went, you know what? We still have 2 frozen embryos. Let's just use it. And completely different. So the only thing is, like, that was our cycle was completely different this time, because I wasn't that intense. I didn't, because I normally change my whole lifestyle. Everything is so involved in just fertility and IVF, and sometimes it's not the right way to do that. I enjoyed my time with my husband. I traveled, because I actually stopped traveling completely for more than a year, because I did not want to put my body through the pressure and everything of traveling. So I basically stayed in Dubai the whole time. And actually that was probably the wrong thing to do, because I was constantly thinking about IVF. So at the end, when it didn't work, it just went completely different, because my mindset was completely different as well. Basically, when we do the transfer, you know exactly when you're going to find out when you're pregnant or not. So that's where it's sort of where people tell you don't try and think about it, because you are going to think about it, because you just put these 2 embryos in you. And every time I put 2 in. That was the fertility clinic's way of giving you the optimal chance to have a baby. 10 days later, you find out, you basically go in for a blood test, and then you have to wait. You go in the morning, early morning, to do a blood test, and then you wait the longest hours. It feels like a lifetime. It's about 5 hours or so that you actually wait for that phone call. That used to be the most scariest phone call, because every call you get, you're like, oh, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? What is it? And I got the call, and it's the nurse that normally always calls me. So we've got a really good reputation with each other, and she's South African, I'm South African. And so she was talking to me in Afrikaans, which is really lovely. And when she called, like, her voice said that it didn't work. And she was like, Marlene, what do you think? But just the voice was just so sad. And I had to say, I was like, oh, what is happening? And she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, from your tone of voice, I think it has not worked. And she's like, you guessed completely wrong. You are 100% pregnant. And that was, I could not believe it. I could not even do it in a nice way. I just literally said, babe, I'm pregnant. You're about a month pregnant by that time when you find out. Because obviously from the start of the IVF, when they fertilize the egg and everything, it's you're basically about 4 months pregnant, 4 weeks pregnant. We were just so happy, just having one healthy baby. That was all that was needed, and we were just over the moon, very happy. 100%, I would recommend it. If anything, if you want to have that beautiful baby, you forget all that stuff. I will do it 100 times more. If you have the finances to do it, then I would say 100% do it. And yes, it's a struggle for a couple to go through, and it's very tiring, and it's very strenuous on your body. My body is not the same anymore. My body has changed completely, but it's where I'm sitting right now. It's all worth it. I would say whatever you do not to give up. There is so much out there that you can do. Do not give up.